Good evening, and welcome to our last evening ceremony here together. Sergeant at Arms, please escort in our honored guests, the constitutional offers and legislative leadership of the Massachusetts Boy State Program. At this time, we ask that you now please stand if you are able, remove your hats, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join me in welcoming Jonathan Cavilhog, a Boy State counselor and member of the Sons of the American Legion, to lead us in the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. This evening we're here to celebrate the accomplishments that we have made here at our program throughout the course of the past week. For some people, it may feel like when we arrived at Stonehill College last Saturday, that was forever ago. For others, it may seem like a day, but no matter how it feels, the accomplishments that you've had each individually has not gone unseen or unnoticed, and you should feel proud of all that you have been able to do. But there's a certain send-off we have to do as well. It is now my honor to introduce the United States Senators who will be representing the students here at Boys Nation later on this summer. At this time, I'd ask you to please join me in welcoming the Honorable William Hu, United States Senator for the Boy State, Massachusetts.
Hey guys. I'd like to start off my speech with one simple word: thankful. A word that is merely composed of 8 letters, but means so much. It's how I've been feeling this last week, how I feel right now, and how I forever will feel after this unforgettable convention. Good evening, Boy Staters, distinguished veterans and legionnaires, counselors, and venerable guests. My name is William Hu, and I am so very humbled and honored to serve as your Massachusetts U.S. Senator. Before I begin my few words, let us give a massive round of applause to the Chairman Mark Avis, to our American Legion lifetime commanders, and to our fantastic volunteers and counselors who all made this possible. Now, I warn you, this speech is going to be a bit more from the heart, so grab some tissues if you have them. The reason I am here on the stage tonight is not because of academic achievement, not because I shook more hands or fist bumped more people, but because of your never-changing support and love. I'm going to start off small and work my way up tonight, because if I had the chance to show my appreciation to everyone sitting here tonight, you would be hearing my voice until 3 in the morning. Firstly, Brian, thank you for being such a cooperative and caring roommate. The first person that I talked to here at Boys State, someone that understood my stress and always woke me up in the mornings if I, didn't wake up. And T3, you are a fantastic crowd. Gabe, my OG campaign advisor, thank you for your advice. Trevor, Adam, Eric, Max, Timothy, Harrison, Eddie, and Harrison again, what am I writing? You all are amazing. And in our municipal meetings, where I once again had the honor of serving as town moderator, we worked together and created artistic seals, ingenious pipelines, and was reminded that a town would not be a town without the iconic Matt, the dog officer. But how could I forget about my dearest Edward Garnett IV? I'll never match your charisma, but I'm tell you guys this. When Eddie and I first met in the bathroom on Saturday morning, who knew we could ever come this far? And gentlemen, tonight, I promise you, you voted for action, not for politics. And during my campaign, I'm sure that all of you heard me repeat the phrase, I'm here not to represent me, but here to represent you. My phrase still stands proud and still stands strong today. But you can't build a strong building without having an even stronger foundation. Without Harry generously providing me with his posters, without Nolan cheering his heart out, without Sean and Joe and the boys carrying me on their shoulders, and without all of your kindness and understanding towards me, none of this could have happened. All of you are family. No matter what you do or where you go from here, you will carry the memory of this momentous week, of what we made together at Boys State 2021, and you will have my lifelong appreciation. Thank you for believing me in all the way. Through every dormitory and every soccer field, thank you for joining me in my chants and creating a few of your own chants. And I must say, I can't disagree with Willow Sexy. Now, I understand that I already used my Kanye quote that night, and I sure hope that you all loved it, but I found another one. J. Cole once said that nothing lasts forever, but at least we got memories. But I don't agree with that. This generation of Boys State will last forever. Forever as the greatest generation of Massachusetts Boys State. And as your senator, I will make you proud. I will make sure that Massachusetts dominate in DC. And I'll make sure that I never forget about you all. And from the bottom of my heart, I once again thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Hu. These U.S. senators that we have elected here will have quite the opportunity down in Washington, D.C. for Boys Nation. Not only will you be interacting with your counterparts from the 49 of the 50 other states, you'll be part of a delegation that will lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery, and you'll have the opportunity to meet the president or a member of his cabinet. And it shows here from the reactions that we've had just how much the citizens of Massachusetts Boys State are behind you both as we send you off to Washington, D.C. However, we still have one more senator to hear from. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Andrew Zhao, United States Senator from Massachusetts Boys State.
Thank you. Good evening, Boys Staters, counselors, Legionnaires, and distinguished guests. Now, I was given 5 minutes tonight to speak, but I'll try to keep it short so we can all enjoy our extended lights out time. I want to start out by thanking all the volunteers of the American Legion who made this week possible. I know Will has already gone around and gave them a round of applause, but let's give another one because this couldn't have been done without them. Now, although COVID has been hard on all of us this past year and a half, I want to mention something positive I developed during the pandemic. Enjoy what you have while you have it. We are fortunate enough to be living in the wonderful Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and more importantly, the United States of America. We are all high school students who have hectic lives, so I urge you to slow down sometimes. Appreciate the simple things in life, but because it all goes by a little too fast. Take a walk, just for the sake of taking a walk. Enjoy the foliage this fall. Pick up an instrument and see what comes to mind. Now, I went into this week with no expectations on myself. I didn't know anyone, and I'm even the first from my school to attend Boys State. With no plan in mind, I hopped into the highly contested race for U.S. Senate, and after 4 speeches and quite an intense debate, I don't think I regret my initial decision to do so. Now, the title of U.S. Senator is amazing and all, but the best part of this week have been the people that I have met. I've had some amazing conversations this week and met people from every corner of Massachusetts. You all hold a dear place in my heart, and I don't think I could ever forget you guys. When you get home, please thank your post that sponsored you. Thank your parents and tell them that you love them. Appreciate your family, for they will always be by your side. And after Boys State, that's what I consider you guys, family. Thank you.
Over the course of the past week, we've had elections for a lot more than just United States Senator and our constitutional offices. The legislature of the Massachusetts Boys State program has also been quite busy in passing and drafting several pieces of legislation that have been presented to Governor Gannett. Here to speak on the progress of the state legislature, please join me in welcoming His Honor Representative Alexander Harisham, Speaker of the House for Massachusetts Boys State.
Get settled, boys, because this is going to take a while. This is very boring stuff happening here. First of all, I'm just going to run through what happened, what we did, everything, and everything that got passed in the House, everything that didn't, and we'll go from there. So on the first day, we didn't really do much getting settled into the process. We went through a test bill to understand how the process worked. This was about making a Department of Technology for Massachusetts, and it was messing around with amendments and all that. Ended up not passing the Senate and was left on my table and forgotten. So moving on to the next day, we have the Lights Out bill that many of you have asked for. That was first on the table, and we went through and we had several amendments that changed several things about the bill, such as 1 hour after the last activity, so that if the activity went past 9:30, we would still have an hour before lights out. Another amendment to move lights out to, on the last night, to move lights out to 12 o'clock. That was another amendment that passed. And then we re-amended the amendment to make it no lights out. However, I don't know, I think the blue shirt shot that down, so I'm sorry. Moving on, we also passed a bill so that to be within reason, if we actually got that, if the blue shirts actually accepted the amendment to, so that we must be in the dorms by 10:30 and that we're not wandering out outside. So, and then we passed the bill over to Senate. Next, what we had on the table was a dorm room bill. This would allow us to swap over to empty dorm rooms, so you could essentially have your own room. Unfortunately, we had a lot more pressing matters, and we voted to table the bill, and it had not come up again, as far as I'm aware, within the schedule. So, yeah. Next, we had the water pipeline bill, which I believe was written by Jack Crowley at this point? Water pipeline bill? Oh, no. Amendment, no. That was referred back to Jack Crowley and the Waterworks Committee. Then we went with Waterworks bill. But next we had the Boise State Revamp Website Act, which was to change some things on the website so that it is more accessible and that more material was available and more relevant material was available more especially. We had a vote on whether to post the entire Blue Book or whether to have a shortened version of the Blue Book. And it seemed to split both ways, whether we'd have the whole Blue Book or just a small part of it. But so we didn't do any amendments to the bill, so I believe it is still a small portion of it, and that would just be like the most important parts, like the section on legislative government, judicial government, and executive government, and how those work within Boise State. Then I believe this bill came from the Senate, so it was passed within the House and then sent over to the governor's desk when he was inaugurated. On the next day, we had to modernize and implement new transportation infrastructure. We had several amendments to go through. Several of them to change the date of completion whether to remove it entirely, whether to put a date, and then would re-amend it later if necessary. We ended up not pushing the date back, and then we would re-amend it as necessary for if something urgent were to come up. And then afterwards, after debates and amendments, we voted to pass it on to the Senate, and it passed. Then next thing on the desk that came over to discussion was the Equal Future Bill that was featured in the Citizen newspaper. We had an amendment to remove Section 3, which stated that that essentially recreation periods would become more strict in attendance, like they would have to make sure people were actually where they were going to prevent people sneaking off, and the House voted to amend it to remove the section entirely. Then soon afterwards, we passed the bill to Senate to vote on the new amendment and hopefully get to the governor's desk. Then next, we had the Noah Wilson bill, which states that understanding that Boise State is a camp to form governments and not one large literacy test, the Senate asked that Section 1, all of the Blue Book is proofread prior to being submitted. Section 2, all questions are stated clearly and with a clear option to submit. For reference, Noah Wilson is a Boise Stater who had to leave early due to the tragic death of his uncle. He felt very strongly on this issue. We then passed this bill very promptly. Next, we had the Reservoir Bill, which was written by Jack Crowley, I believe. So then we voted to pass the bill onto the Senate and get their approval. And yep. Then we had a series of bills going in and out. We had a minimum wage increase act. The essential premise of it was to increase the minimum wage along with inflation rate over time. Over several times that got returned to the table, brought back onto the table, returned to the table, and then, laid on the table, then brought back onto the discussion. One of the bills that took more precedence, obviously, was the DoorDash Act. That passed very quickly and sent to the governor's desk. On the next day, we presented the C3 Prison Act. This was to essentially fix the problems with the prisons across all the state, within the two towns that were having significant prison issues. And that passed very quickly after a brief amendment to Section 2 to clarify the allocation of funds to $50 million. Oh boy. Now next on the desk was the impeachment of the Attorney General. It was presented in the House. Oh my. So it had several articles stating that the comments that the Attorney General made during his speech, and let's just say the House promptly defeated the bill, and then Then I just tore it clean in half. So there's no reconsidering that vote. Next, we have the reservoir bill got sent back to us, I believe, by the Senate because they decided to make an amendment and change some allocation of funds and such. And that also got passed, so we're getting some work done with the water issues, with the reservoir bill, and all that. Then we had a bill for disabilities in sports. This was to enable athletic activities for people that are disabled, allow them to participate in more activities and promote more inclusion. That passed within the House very promptly. Then we had another interesting bill, the Alpha Delore bill. That passed the bill very quickly with a big majority. So, So the Alpha Delore bill is not really, it's not that much. It just really recognizes Delore as the alpha male at Boise State. Next, we had a water pipeline bill that was very quickly passed within the House to solve several problems with the water issues across many municipalities and also to help fill the reservoir over time as a long-term solution. Oh, yes, very important bill. So the Councillor Luke, he was very often barefoot while in the House of Representatives. So we passed a bill that required him to make sure that he had shoes on and that there was no foot interlocking allowed at all. Then on the table was the Faith Letarte Day Act. She is the governor for Girl State, as some of you may remember. And also Eddie, some of you may know that he got an elementary school in the city of Hope named after him. So some of us saw fitting that we would also recognize the Girl State governor in a similar manner. This bill passed the House as well. Then, while this was happening, we had a very important issue to discuss regarding someone in the Senate. We wrote some impeachment articles and very quickly sent it over. And let's just say they did not have any more time to pass any more of the bills that the House had written because someone decided to filibuster all the time. Now, also, we had the bird bill. This bill was written so that, hold on, I've written it down. It's, I quote, "I shall be allowed to hang with dimes during free time." Once again, not written by me, but this passed in the House regardless. Next, we passed the Championship Games Act. This allowed that certain participants who were subpoenaed to participate in the games and then could present at a later time to go to the court and get their trial. So one section allowed that if the county were to lose the game and the person who was subpoenaed was on that team, he would be excused, as losing would be a fitting punishment. Several of us did not agree with that. We found a more suiting punishment would be to not be allowed in the privileges of the bird bill. So then that promptly passed the House. Now I'd also like to present the committees we had and then also recognize the chairman of each of those committees. The first committee we had, the Committee of Waterworks, had several members and with the chair of Adam Clive. We also had a prison committee. The chair was Brady White. And we also had a business and finance committee with Joseph Donovan. And now for some brief closing remarks. I'd like to recognize everyone who's elected such wonderful candidates for state representatives, and I want to thank all the state representatives for working with me and working with each other on all of these bills. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure working with you all, and that's all I have. We'll move on to the Senate and their proceedings.
Before we move on to our next speaker, I believe someone was out of the room when he was mentioned earlier, so I would like to recognize him now as we speak. Gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Councilor Luke Boudreau in the back of the room for having a bill named after him. Thank you. Our next speaker has also played a part in the progress of the legislative session here at Massachusetts Boys State this year. While the position does begin with the honorific of His Honor, though some court proceedings this afternoon may have stated otherwise, it is now my honor and privilege to welcome to the podium the Honorable Matthew Mowgli Marcel, President of Massachusetts Boys State Senate.
Hello, everybody. So, the Senate this year was a little bit shaky at some times, I'm gonna be honest. But overall, I would say that we still had some fun in the Senate and we got a lot passed. So, I'd like to start off with thanking all the people of the Senate. We may have had our disagreements at times, especially, today. But still, thanks all of you. So if all the senators could stand up and get a round of applause, please. So I'm just going to go over in detail a little more of the bigger bills that got passed. Alec over here got most of the bills that we passed anyways. So I'm going to start off with the General Infrastructure Bill written by Tyler Trudeau from T5. It's not here? Okay. So the General Infrastructure Bill, it allocates a bunch of money to a bunch of the different cities in Mass, and it goes according to the population to give an equal amount of funding to each city as per their needs for infrastructure. Pretty good bill, very solid, got a lot of stuff done. Good job, Trevor. The next major bill was brought up by my loyal clerk, Henry Wayland. Thank you. Alec touched on this one as well. It's an equal future for boys and girls state. I want to go in more in detail, and this bill says that boys and girls state will be more entwined, having municipal meetings together, more electives together, maybe even some of the rec time. And funnily enough, the Girls State Senate actually made a bill very similar to this one, so it seems we both have this idea. So yeah, that one passed to both houses. Hopefully it'll become something. Another one of the major bills for Boys State itself was the website revamp bill. The website revamp bill, just to go over it again, made it so that the website had more information so that we all aren't going into this blind, and so that we have a little more time to plan everything and get completely ready. One of the most controversial bills that we had was the C2 Land Act bill, or just the Land Act bill in general. So a little bit of background on this bill to start off with. There's a bunch of empty kind of cities throughout like the map that don't have representatives. So some of us had the idea to give this land to each other's cities, which with hindsight is probably not the best decision because it's, against the Mass Constitution. And this bill was actually kind of the catalyst for my later impeachment. So if I could go back, I would probably not pass that bill, but regardless, it passed the Senate, didn't get to the House because I was being impeached. For most of the other ones, Alex said most of them, and Eddie has the remainder, so I just like to take the rest of my time to talk about what kind of happened in the Senate and how it went. So I would say that we had a lot of participation in the Senate. We all had a lot of different bills that got passed from most of the members of the Senate. We all got to have our little discussion areas, and I would say that we all definitely got a lot done. Again, we had our disagreements, but overall, I'd say that we had a good time, and we got a lot of really good laws passed, and we did a pretty good job for Massachusetts. So that's basically all I have today. So thank you for letting me be your Senate president, even though it wasn't the best. Thank you.
Our elected officials throughout the United States, in all 50 states, all receive the honorific style, it's called, before their name, of the Honorable, or His Honor if the title is used. This is done for all mayors, city councilors, members of legislatures, the president and the vice president even, except for one specific position in every state as a way of recognizing that that position is in charge of running their own sovereign state within our federal system here in the United States. Here at Massachusetts Boys State, we operate on a system just like that, where the governor of Massachusetts Boys State does have a large say in what goes on here and is a large part of our program. At this time, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Edward Gaunet IV, Governor of the Massachusetts Boys State Program.
You guys are too much. All right, let me get set up here. We have a folder for some bills and then a computer with a speech. All right, let's get going. So I had someone else help me write this speech so we can be a bit more serious today. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes. So, I commend both houses of Congress on their diligent efforts to pass many bills. Here, I have listed the Senate Bill F4, the Senate Bill F11, the Senate Bill C2, the Senate Bill B, 3. Okay, you know, we're going off script. We're not doing that. All right. Now, I have a question for you all. Is the opposite of a pro a con? I'd say so. Then I think the opposite of progress is congress, if I had to say so. But that's not the case here. That's not the case here. We have a truly great Congress. They were working rapidly. They were passing bills faster than I pass cars on the highway, I tell you. But anyways, they were really great this year. And I think in total, they ended up passing and having me sign off on 17 bills overall. That's a great accomplishment, guys. And that's a great accomplishment for all of you too, because it means you elected great senators and legislatures who are willing to work and do their duties instead of goofing off in there. Well, there was a bit of goofing off, but they still got work done, so that's all that counts. So, once the legislative branch, they passed these bills, then we gathered the cabinet heads and all the figureheads of the nationalist parties and federalists, and we had a nice signing right back there and signed the bills. And I'll go through the bills a little bit. So thankfully, I'm not going to read them all because they went through some already and they are quite long. And we have some clarifications to make too. We have some troubled chair people back there. But don't worry, we're going to try and make everyone happy. We might end up having a battle between Chairman Avis and our past national commanders. We'll see who wins. All right, let's get going. So I'd like to congratulate everyone here. We now have clean and safe water. Very well done. We can finally drink clean water. Heck, you could even drink from the toilet if you wanted. Go right ahead. But anyways, that's due in part thanks to the Reservoir Project bill and then the Pipeline Project. Now, I want to tell you a little story about that. So I don't know which one passed it first, but they passed the reservoir bill, but they had no plan for a pipeline. They said, all right, we're going to dig a hole in the ground, and there will be no water in it. The rain will fill it up over the years. But that just doesn't work. Rain evaporates, and we were going to have a big dry hole in the ground, and you just can't have that. So we had some people in the house. Was it Adam, I believe? Adam, very well done. He got pipelines, so we actually have water for the reservoir. You need water for it. Anyways, let me open this up, and we're going to take a look at some of the bills. So we have, first I'd like to address the Sean Burke National DoorDash Act. So it has been signed and passed, but as we all know, everything has to be run by our Chairman Avis back there. So we did some negotiating. And basically, he's hiding back there. It's all right, we won't boo you that bad. But, so basically it is passed, but he just has to run it by the Stonehill president, which it'll be ready for tomorrow at noon. Moving on, we have... Nothing we can do about that one. Next, reservoir bill, skipping that, talked about it. Pipeline, skipping that. We have Senator Bill number 9, which is an act to distribute emergency allergen medication throughout schools and at no cost to students. We're going to get everyone EpiPens, apparently. That's just what they passed. But all right, good for people with allergies. I guess not for people who don't. All right. Moving right along. You know, I knew we're not going to go into that story. Next, we have the Equitable Education Initiative, also known as the Public Education Reform Bill. And this is truly monumental for our education here in all of our towns and cities, T1 through T8 and C1 through C4. It's really going to help you out. So we did do productive stuff. We had infrastructure, education, water. So we did solve the problems within our town whilst having fun with some of the other bills too. Next, we have the Alpha Dolore bill again. That's a great one. And like it said, it's just recognizing that Dolore is the alpha here. You won't have to make any new certificates. Don't worry back there. You're all clear. Next, we have the petition to the great and general course that we, the people of Boise State, find it unjust that we are required to have the lights out by 10:30. The Lights Out Act. There we go. Now this This is going to be a monumental moment right here. Tough stuff. So we have an undecided chairman on whether or not he's going to allow it. Oh, he's getting up. Oh, boy. So what we're going to have to do, we've had some naughty kids out here the past week, apparently. So do we want to punish just the naughty kids or everyone? Okay, that's what it sounds like. So, anyways, we'll see what Chairman Avis decides. He might come up and, are you coming up to speak? Oh, he's leaving us in suspense. It'll be only until 11 o'clock tonight if he does decide to do it. Oh, he's pulling up a chair. We're getting very serious in here. Oh, okay. I have to behave now. He's watching us. All right, we're going to table that, and maybe he'll give us a decision by the end of the night. Let's hear it for Chairman Avis. Let him know how much we love him. Come on, get on your feet. Get on your feet. There we go. There we go. Chairman Avis, everyone. All right, and last but not least, we're going to announce the members of the cabinet. This is a big one. We're going to have to wait until the end to hold until the end to wait your applause. Wait, what's the wording? Wait until the end to hold your applause. There it is. All right, we'll get there eventually. So, in our first department, we have finance and administration, and at the head of that, we have head director Hector Aponte. Next, we have, great job, we have the Appellate Tax Board Administrator, was Camden Coughlin, and he also has another position. We'll get to that. Then we have the Bureau of State Office Buildings, making sure all of the buildings are in good order. Nathan Daly, the Civil Service Commander, Abhishek Rain. Next we have the Director of Revenue, Daniel Simler. Next we have the Director of Administrative Law Appeals, Camden Coughlin. Then we have the Director of Capital Asset Management, Adler Schultz. Okay, we're going to speed through this really quickly. Then next we have the Teachers Retirement System of Nav Sedani. Okay, next section, Public Safety. Head of Public Safety, we have Colin Freeman. Then we have the Director of Family Affairs. We have Messafint Goldfield. Then we have this is a very important one, and it's in the boys' state booklet. We have our Sex Offender Registrant. Where is he? Stand up. There he is. Okay, very important. We're covering all the positions here. Next, we have our Chief of Fire Services, Paul Leonelli. All right, flip page. Now we're moving on to education. We have the Head of Education of the Commonwealth. He waved. We got a wave out of him. Will he stand up? Come on, Henry. Henry Wayland, everyone. Next, we have Early Education and Care Director, Jared V. Then we have the Elementary School and Secondary Education Director, Aaron Picard. Then we have the Higher Education Director, BJ. Next, we have the UMass System Director, Scotty Cameron. Then we have our Community College and State Director, Delore Ihade. Well done, Delore. There he is. This is why we passed the Alpha Delore Act. All right, moving on to environment, something that's very important to us. We have head of the EPA, John W. Where is he? There he is. Well done. Next, we have the head of the Environmental Protection, Sam Harris. We have the head of the Food and Agricultural Department, Andrew Mick. We just have Mick written down. Mick what? McKiernan. Okay, Andrew McKiernan. Then next we have the Department of Conservation and Recreation. We have Mr. Gallo. Next we have the Department of Public Utilities, Elijah. We have the State Reclamation Board head, Zach B. And then we have the next Department of Transportation, which we have one sole person on this, the Director of Transportation, Michael Karshish, not Karshish. All right. Next, we have the Labor and Workforce Development Department Head of Labor, John Hood. We have the Director of Labor Relations, Malcolm. We have the Massachusetts Rehab Commission, Zabine Andrade. Then we have the Head of Infrastructure, Tyler Trudeau. Almost there. Then we have the Water Committee, the Water Commander. He commands the water. Jack Crowley, well done. He tells the water what to do. We have the Director of the Better Business Bureau, Juan Ogando. Juan, I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Very good. Lil J, that's what I know him by, Little J. All right, moving right along. We have the Dog Commander, not the dog officer, the commander of the dogs, Matt. Well done. Then we have our Marine Theft Constable, making sure none of the boats get stolen. We have Trevor. Very well done. Director of Machine Engineering, we have Kai. And I think that just about does it for everyone. Oh, just kidding. We have 2 more pages. I'm just kidding. We're all done. All right, that's everything we have for you. We hope you all have a great evening, and maybe Chairman Avis will give us a report on what he says about our bills. Good night, everyone.
Can I see this for a second?
Yes. My hand hurts from signing so many bills today. My gosh.
As mayor of the chair city in Massachusetts, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the poetic justice of Chairman Avis so dramatically carrying up a chair with him to the front podium. Now, as we move forward with our program tomorrow, there are some processes that you will have to be following in order to check out and close our Voice State program. Mayors and moderators, we've been having breakfast most of the days this week. We will not be having breakfast tomorrow. However, what you need to do is take your folders that you have all of your information in and give that to your lead counselor before you leave. There will be any envelopes, any file, any papers, anything like that that was stored in those folders, give to us at your municipal meetings tomorrow morning, and come see me up by the American flag after the ceremony here today. The next item on the agenda that we have recognizes the counselors for winning every championship game in our sports competition that we had against the winners of the different athletic programs. Once again, the counselors. Once again, the counselors maintain our record streak of not losing a game here on campus. But to talk about the athletic prowess of those who were not counselors this week, please join me in welcoming our athletic director, Alex Broder, to the podium. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So my laptop is at 2%, so we're going real quick. Okay, so today was championship day. We're going to come back to football. We'll save that one for the end. But first, with soccer, we had County A beating County F 1-0. Then we got to basketball, where we had County A defeating County F 31-3. I'm positive that that result was due to the amazing coaching by none other than Matthew Parent, so thank you to him. In College Bowl, County E took on County A, and County E won 13-12. And in softball, County E defeated County C. Yes. Now on to the counselor games. In a consistently upstanding matches, First, we actually had an issue in the football championship. Since we had to make some changes and act on the fly, we didn't have enough kids to make the football championship happen. So to stand in for County A or for County E, some of the counselors took part, and we also had a little bit of help from County D. And unfortunately, it just didn't go super well. So congratulations to County A. One of the interesting things about all of these sports this week is that we had a lot of undefeated teams. And by a lot of, I mean 2 counties, but in each sport. So County A was undefeated in football, soccer, and basketball. And then County E was undefeated in softball. In the College Bowl, the counselors were successful in taking on the champions. They won 12-10, although the champions, you put up a good fight, so thank you for that. So as I sort of alluded to, there were a few undefeated teams. However, there was one county who went completely defeated. Never in my now 7 years at Boise State have I ever seen a county go completely defeated. But congratulations to the Cleveland Browns, also known as County D, who went 0-11 this week. And sort of on that note, based off of that clear enthusiasm, one thing that I think is sort of important and something that we really focus on here at Boise State is sportsmanship. And that's being a good sport whether you're on top or whether you're being defeated. And so I would like to shout out County D for just being very positive the entire time, despite not necessarily having the most success on the fields. So the last thing that I have for you guys is, in that spirit of sportsmanship, I've asked all of our commissioners for all of our different sports to provide me with a name of one camper who really exemplified sportsmanship at their particular location. So to start off with that, I was talking to Jonas, who is working with the tennis courts, and he recommended Samuel Ryan for just being an all-around all-star. So if Samuel Ryan could come on up here. Up next with soccer, I was talking to our commissioner, Connor, and he highlighted that this person helped pick up trash after the games when everyone else sort of disappeared. So shame on the rest of y'all, but shout out to Connor Bolak from T8. Up next on the softball field, got to sort of observe that a lot today as we were taking on the County E. And so one of the star players for the team was Hector Ponte, and he also exemplified great sportsmanship the whole time. So I'd like to call up Hector to receive the Sportsmanship Award. Then for basketball on the basketball courts, from the city of C1, I'd like to call on Chauncey Michael. So thank you for your sportsmanship. And then finally, in Quiz Bowl, I'm excited because this is a representative from my town. From the town of T5, please come up, Nathan Daly. And now I think I've done enough talking here, but there is still one sport left. And well, we all know a character named Ernie who's standing behind me. So I'm going to let him present the Sportsmanship Award for football.
Okay, I'll say this. Every year when we do football, I look at the weather forecast with fear and disdain in some cases. Because when it's 90 degrees and up, y'all are a bunch of jerks out there in the football field, want to kill each other, rip each other's throat out. It's like y'all are going to get a Super Bowl check at the end of this thing. But fortunately, we had the good weather where y'all were pussycats. You're great. You're shaking hands with each other. You're having a good time. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is all right. I look forward every year to getting my first person tossed out because that's usually it. I didn't get to get one this year. So as you know, y'all saw the way I was throwing flags. I was like, come on. One of you guys say something dumb to me. Y'all didn't. So then I had to start antagonizing you by throwing touchdowns on y'all. And, you guys cheated, but you managed to get ahead, so I'll give you that. It's all right. It's all right. You picked on the crippled old man with 2 knee braces, 2 hip surgeries, 3 knee surgeries, and you still couldn't, do much to stop us from still scoring a half dozen on you. You take that to your graves, young men, because you'd be salty about that, 6 touchdowns on it. But hey, on the football award, there's one guy that stood out. He was always friendly, super respectful. Yeah, he's an okay player. He came back, and even from another sports day came and won. Mark, get your ass up here and get this, man. So with us, because I'm the cool guy, he's also getting a round from the A10s that I used to work on. These are super hard to get a hold of, but for football every year, I give this away because if you could put up with my shit that whole time, you're going to do all right.
Congratulations to all of our athletic award winners. And a round of applause again for the counselors for winning all of our championship games this week. Thank you very much. Yes. Several of you have asked us what the process is on becoming a blue shirt next year and how you can step on this side of the curtain and help next year's citizens of Massachusetts Boys State get the same great experience and maybe one even better because of a different perspective that you bring to our program. So here today to talk about the process on how to become a member of the Blue Shirt staff is our Director of Staffing, Dan Peterson. Dan, thank you.
Hey everyone, kind of a weird feeling being up here. I've been here 11 years now, and I think this is my first time back to the podium since I was a Boy Stater. So a lot of you guys haven't really met me, besides my town, and even they really haven't spent much time with me this week. Kind of some work in the background a lot. So the process for becoming a blue shirt is pretty simple. You go on maboystate.org, where the website that we're going to fix thanks to you guys. And then there's an alumni tab up the top. You click become a counselor, and there's a web address in there. You can send an email that will come to me. I'll shoot you an application. I think one thing I really want to touch on is that we're hearing a little bit of rumblings that there's a few people kind of like, oh, well, I don't know, everyone up on stage is really impressive. I'm not sure I can be up to that level. We don't expect you to be. And I am not on their level either. So, it's just a whole different dynamic. Please, if you're interested in coming back, please apply. Our selection process is not based on if you go to Harvard or if you serve in the Air Force or anything like that. We have a whole other, selection process. So please apply if you feel like this is something you would want to do. We always love having more applicants. We can only take a select number, but we love going through the process. So if you have any questions, talk to your counselors. Come find me. It's on the website, so we updated it today for next year. So again, come find me if you have any questions. Thanks.
Jake Moran. Everyone, round of applause for Jake Moran in the back. Moving on. Next on our agenda this evening, we have a couple of finalists for a very important award to announce for the Nasiatka Award that is given out annually on the last day of Massachusetts Boys State. To announce this, please welcome Kevin Coughlin and Chairman Mark Avis to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This morning, you all discussed in your towns the significance of the Nasiatka Award, the only award that is immortalized in your Blue Book. Many of you were nominated, and this evening we had the privilege of having dinner with those nominees, getting to know them a little bit more, getting to talk to them, and we appreciate all of that time that you gave to that process. I said to those finalists who we talked, or those nominees rather, who we talked to this evening, I don't mean to be the guy who says it's an honor just to be nominated, but because of the significance that we all approach this award with, and because of the reverence that we treat it with, it is an honor just to be nominated. So congratulations to all of you who were. Our three selections for finalists who will meet with myself, Chairman Avis, Mr. French, and Mr. Brady tomorrow morning in the, and Commander Warren as well. Thank you. We'll all meet in the back of Roach Dining Common where you all started your dinner this evening. Those three finalists are from C4, Sam Harris. From T3, Gabe De Acevedo. And from C1, Zakaria Henry. Congratulations to all of you who went through this process today, and we look forward to meeting again with the three of you in the morning.
Now, when you came to Stonehill College, one of the things that all of your counselors told you was keep your key on your lanyard so you don't lose it. Some of you have made sure to keep up with that throughout the week. Some of you, I hear, are now sharing keys. However, no matter what you're doing, the process tomorrow for turning in your keys is right before you leave. There will be one of your counselors sitting at your dorm with the same box in which we took your keys out. You cannot leave campus until you give your key back to your counselor, who will mark that they have received it from you. If that does not happen, there'll be a lovely piece of mail arriving at your house in the next few weeks with a bill for $50 to replace the lock on the door in which your dorm room was. So please be sure that before you leave tomorrow, you do turn in your key. The last person I have to announce this evening before we go to announcements is a personal friend of mine that I have had the privilege of working with since I started on the Boys State staff, and has continued to be a source of support even outside the program. When I announced that I was first going to be running for mayor last year, he asked me for a campaign pin, and he put it on his Legion cap. And that meant the world to me last year. And he's like that with everyone who goes through this program. Please join me in welcoming Chairman Mark Avis for some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Michael. I asked to say a few words because I know the governor put me on the spot earlier about lights out. I'll tell you a little story. We used to have it at 11 o'clock here at Boys State, but by the time Tuesday morning came around, you kids were so tired that we couldn't do anything, so we peeled it back to 10:30, and we got so much more production out of you that we just felt we could keep it that way. And as the governor said, Commander Morin and I were at odds about it, and we sat down in the room and we fought it out, but we came to a compromise. And we said this evening that we'll allow you to stay up until 11 o'clock. And we'll allow you and if you obey the rules and everything goes fine, beginning Friday evening, we'll allow you to stay up till 11:30. How's that? Okay? All right, so the compromise has been made. Governor, are you happy? Are you happy?
We are very happy.
That's all I want to say. I love happy Boy Staters. So enjoy yourselves this evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Just a reminder, mayors, moderators, and Alex Lucier, please see me at the flagpole after this concludes here. Are there any announcements from the councilors? Are there any announcements from the councilors? Sergeant at Arms. Please escort our constitutional officers and the legislative leadership of Massachusetts Boys State from the podium back outside. Let's hear it for our constitutional officers.